Hello everyone, welcome back in another video of Salesforce interview question and answers. So in this video we will be discussing about some Salesforce interview questions that will completely help you if you are looking for job in Salesforce or if you are preparing for Salesforce interview. So the first question is, what is Salesforce? Salesforce is the best world leading CRM platform where you can implement different type of applications. That application could be related to healthcare, sales, marketing. So any type of application you can develop, you can implement with the help of Salesforce. That helps organization to manage their customer sales, service and marketing in one place. And the second question is, what are objects in Salesforce? What are objects? So objects in Salesforce are like a database table where you will be storing the records, where you will be storing the raw records. So there are couple of objects will be already provided by the Salesforce, which will be called as standard object, and the objects that user can create from themselves, that will be considered as the custom objects, which will be created by the user for business specific data. And what is a user in Salesforce? A user in Salesforce could be anyone who have accessibility, who have access to log into Salesforce, who has their credentials, who has username, password, and they are able to log into Salesforce. So those will be considered as the user in. And each user will be having a profile that defines the access for that user. What that user can do once they log into the Salesforce org, what type of permissions and what type of roles they are having. Based on that, it will be decided what a user can perform, what a user can do once they log into Salesforce. Then the next and most important question is, what are governor limits in Salesforce? What is governor limit in Salesforce? This will be the most important question related to the interview. You may expect this question in while being in the interview. So Salesforce is a multi-tenant platform. As we all know, Salesforce is the multi-tenant platform, so it applies limit to resources like SOQL and DML statements, heap size, CPU time, etc., to ensure no single users consumes all resources, which means Salesforce is a platform which is giving you the resources. Resources, which means you will be able to write the SQL queries to fetch the records from the database. You can execute the code, and so how much time it is taking to execute the code, there will be a limit. CPU time limit will be there. So heap size memory, heap memory is there. So how many data you are storing into the heap memory. How many DML statements you can execute in a single transaction. So there is a limit for everything. If the limit will not be there, so a single user can consume all the resources. The single user can occupy the complete resource. So to avoid monopolization of the resources, Salesforce has the limit that is called governor limit. Then the next question is, what is a relationship in Salesforce? Relationship link objects together. In Salesforce you will be creating the objects individually. So once you have created the object, you can make relationship between those two objects to relate the data between two objects. Like address can be related to an employee, so employee will be having their address, so we can create object of employee, we can create object of address, and we can link those two objects together with the help of lookup. There are lookup relationship. There are like multiple relationships we have in Salesforce. First will be the lookup relationship and the master detail relationship. Many to many relationship via junction object, and there is one more, that is self relationship. So in a lookup relationship will be created, you will be creating a lookup field on an object to relate to the another object. In master detail also you will be doing the same as lookup. You will be creating a master detail field on an object to link to the other object. So you need to know what in which scenario, in which case you will be creating a lookup field, or in for which scenario you will be creating a master detail field. So for this I have already uploaded a video in detail, so you can simply go and watch that video. I'll put the link in this video description. Junction object. What is junction object? Junction object is a simple custom object which will be created to achieve many to many relationship. And how you will be considering an object as a junction object. So those objects will be having two master detail field. Okay, those object will be having two master detail field, will be considered as a junction object, and you can create only two master detail field in an object, not more than two. And there is one more relationship, which is self relationship. Okay, you can create a relationship, okay, to themselves. Like employee can have a relationship with employee object, account object can have relationship with account object, will be considered as the self relationship. You can see in the diagram. Now the next question is, what is a profile and permission set? What is a profile? So whenever you are going to create an object, at that time you will be deciding a profile, and what profile will be the base level access of permission. Profile will decide what a user can perform, what a user can do, what a user can perform, like what type of DML operations a user can perform, like CRUD operations a user can perform. User will be able to create a record or delete record or edit record, update record, okay, read the records. So all these things will be decided based on the profile. If you missed something, or if you want to give some extra permissions, so for that you can create a permission set to provide some additional access. Now what are validation rules? So validation rules actually ensures the data quality before saving the record. If you want to apply some checks, okay, if you have given the input values to the if you have given values to the input fields, so before saving the record, if you want to perform some checks like the data is correct or not, if that email ID field is having @ like correct email, genuine email or not, if that phone number field is having a phone number in 10 digits or not, if it is it should not be in 9 digits, it should not be in 11 digits. So these type of quality checks you can perform through the validation rules. You can write the validation rule to perform these type of things. So in this we have created a validation rule on which we are checking child record should not be created more than 2. Okay, if there is a parent record, on that parent record you are going to create multiple child records, so I'm going to restrict it. You cannot create more than 2 child records on a particular parent record. So for those kind of things you can write the validation rule. Now what is a workflow rule? Workflow rule is an automation tool of Salesforce process, like sending an with the help of a workflow rule you can send an email alert, you can update the field, you can create multiple tasks, okay, you can call another flow, you can send outbound message. Now the difference between workflow rule, process builder and the flow. What is the difference between workflow rule, process builder and the flow? This could be the most this also could be the most important question related to the interview. So workflow rule is limited automation. It can be used to update the field value, to send an email alert, to create multiple tasks, or to send outbound message. So if you want to know what is outbound message, just put it in the comment. So I'll create one more video on the outbound message and I'll let you know about the outbound message, or wait, at the end of this video I'll tell you what is outbound message. What is process builder? Process builder is more powerful automation tool than workflow rule. You can apply multiple conditions. Okay, if there is multiple conditions to update the field value, okay, if let's suppose you have multiple criteria, so based on that criteria you will be updating the field values. So for that you can use process builder, because that the same thing you cannot apply through the workflow rule. In workflow rule you cannot give multiple conditions, multiple criteria you cannot use in workflow rule. For that you can use process builder. And what is flow? Flow is a bit powerful than a workflow rule and a process builder. Flow, with the help of flow you can create a related record. Okay, with the help of flow you can call the Apex class. So nowadays whatever things being done through the process builder or workflow rule, or everything has been implemented in the flow. Now flow is that much powerful that can perform each and every operation that is being performed by the workflow rule and process builder. So maybe in future Salesforce will be removing this workflow rule and process builder and will be using flow only. What are record types? Okay, record types let you create different business processes, pick list values and page layouts for the same object. Example, different sales process for B2B versus B2C. Let's suppose you have created an object for storing the business data. Okay, so if you want to categorize data for business to business, and you want to categorize data for business to customer. So you can create two record types. Okay, one record type will be showing the fields, so will be showing the values related to the business to business, and the second record type will be showing the values related to the business to customer. So you can create multiple record types, like I have created for application. I have created 3 record types: job application, leave application, and loan application. So for those 3 record types, you will be creating 3 page layouts. Okay, on that page layout you will be putting the fields. So based on selection of record types, that page layouts will get appeared, and if you are able to see the page layout, so you will be able to see the fields related to that particular record. So basically, page layout, this record type is used to categorize the records. Okay, differentiate the records so that it will be easy to access. If I want the records only related to my business to business, if I want record only related to my business to customer, so that we can categorize based on record type. So where I can put where record type is B2B or B2C, it will give you the related records. Now, what is Apex in Salesforce? So once you have completed the admin, then you will start with the Salesforce development. So once you start with the Salesforce development, Salesforce has their own programming language, which is Apex. Okay, because Salesforce is a strongly typed and object-oriented programming language used to write triggers, classes, and asynchronous jobs in Salesforce. So if you have requirement to write code, okay, so for that you will be writing Apex code to achieve the requirement which is not being achievable through the Salesforce admin. So which means Apex class comes in the picture when a requirement is not doable, requirement is not achievable through the Salesforce admin, then you can go for the Apex. So with the help of Apex, you can write the trigger, you can create the task, you can write the synchronous Apex, you can write the asynchronous Apex. If you want to know what is synchronous and asynchronous Apex, put it in the comment. I'll upload one more new video related to the synchronous and asynchronous Apex, which is very much important related to the interview. Again, what are triggers in Salesforce? Triggers are Apex, as we already discussed. Trigger is the Apex language, okay, which executes before or after the DML operation. When you are going to insert, there are 2 types of trigger: before trigger and after trigger, which means whenever you are going to create a record, before saving the record, if you want to apply some checks, so that check, if that checks is simple, you can use the validation rule. If that checks is not simple, it is complicated, okay, the requirement is not being fulfilled by the Salesforce admin, like the functionality which already provided by the Salesforce, then you will be going for the Apex trigger. You can write a trigger to apply checks before saving the record or after saving the record. You can create record before saving the record, you can update record before saving the record, you can get data from related records. Okay, so whatever things if you want to perform, you can perform through the trigger. There are multiple contexts also in this trigger, so on which also I'll be creating a detailed video. What is SOQL and SOSL? These two are the query language in Salesforce. SOQL is Salesforce Object Query Language, and SOSL is the Salesforce Object Search Language. So mostly in Salesforce, you will be using SOQL query to get the data from the Salesforce database, like from a particular object. Okay, and SOSL search across multiple objects simultaneously, which means if you want to search phone numbers, you don't know, like, this phone number is going to be belongs to which object. If you don't know about that, if you want to search email IDs, okay, email fields, and you don't know this email field is on which object, so you can write SOSL query. And if you know this email belongs to account object, I have to write a query directly on the account object to get all the emails related to account, so you can write the SOQL query. Now, what are asynchronous Apex and synchronous Apex? So asynchronous Apex, which will be executing in the background without affecting the users or without affecting the resources. So okay, which runs in the background without blocking any other process, like future method, batch Apex, queuable Apex, and schedulable Apex, used for handling large data, long running jobs, and parallel processing. Which, let's suppose if you are working on the business hours, okay, and if you have to perform bulk operation on 50,000 or more than 50,000 of records, so at the business hours, if you are going to perform it, it may block the users, it may block the resources. Okay, you may get some error. okay, because you are performing, you are updating the data, and at the same time somebody is working on the same data, so you may that could be a conflict. So if you want to perform bulk operations, so for that you can use asynchronous apex, which always will be executing in the background without affecting any resource, without affecting any without blocking the users or process, any type of process. So we have multiple asynchronous apex, which is batch apex, we have queuable apex, we have schedulable apex, we have future method, we have. Okay, so in upcoming videos I'll be discussing each and every topic in detail. Now what is the difference between role and profile? So in each and every interview, the interviewer will ask you this question: what is the difference between profile and role? So whenever you are going to create a user, at that time it is compulsory, it is mandatory to provide the profile to that particular user, but role is not mandatory to assign at the time of user creation. And profile will decide what a user can perform, what a user can do in that Salesforce org. Okay, role will decide like what a user can see only. Okay, based on role it is not decided, like role will not be there to decide what a user can perform, which type of DML operations or CRUD operations a user going to be performed based on their role. No, it is not there. Role will be there to give visibility, what type of data a user can see, and profile will decide what a user can do in this org. Correct. So this is the difference between profile and role. So this much interview question and answer for this video. I hope you like this video. So just prepare if you are going for the interview, that this will completely help you. Okay, I'm sure this will help you. So if you like if you like the video, then please press the like button and don't forget to subscribe the channel so that you can get the latest update. Thank you for watching the video.